Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 20th match of this year's IPL, which saw the Mumbai Indians taking on the Delhi Capitals in the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And for the first time this season, the Mumbai Indians have won a game. They are finally no longer winless and they have 2 points to their name as they won this match by 29 runs, mainly courtesy of one Romario Shepherd, who scored 32 runs in just the very last over of the Mumbai innings to push them all the way up to 234. And that's a ridiculously massive total, so it's very defendable, obviously. But that ultimately ended up being the main difference. Because here's the thing: Mumbai won by 29 runs, and Romario Shepherd scored exactly 32 in the final over. So you can do the math; it's right there. But let's say Romario Shepherd scores something pretty normal that we see in T20s nowadays, which is somewhere around 17 or 18 runs in the final over instead of 32. So that's already a huge difference. You're looking at 14 to 15 runs less, and that would have made Delhi's chase have a different approach to it. They would have a different approach. They would have thought about it differently, and maybe Delhi could have won instead of losing wickets earlier due to having to try to get the scoring rate up, because David Warner was struggling. He got out relatively cheaply. Abhishek Porel could not exactly get going either. His strike rate was not where it needed to be. Prithvi Shaw had a solid half century, but for Delhi, it's mainly about Tristan Stubbs. 71 from 25, and he was striking the ball very cleanly. Everything that he hit felt like it was going to go for a boundary. He always found the middle of the bat. He didn't play a false stroke. He didn't just try to throw his wicket away. He was scoring very intelligently, either just launching it into the stands or finding gaps and just forcing the ball for four. Very excellent innings from Tristan Stubbs, but unfortunately that individual effort was completely overshadowed by the collective effort of the Mumbai Indians batting lineup, which saw 5 batters who scored no less than 39 runs each. Hardik Pandya and Romario Shepherd were the only ones to score exactly 39. Hardik Pandya was a slower one, scoring 39 from 33, as he was playing more of an anchor role as the other players around him started hitting. But Romario Shepherd gave that finishing flourish, 39 from just 10. That is ridiculously fast and very, very impressive. And given the context of the game, also very necessary. They needed that ending flourish because, for what it is worth, despite their struggles, Delhi also did not lose wickets in a heap. They didn't necessarily get the contributions that they wanted in an ideal scenario, but they did not lose wickets in a heap, which allowed them to try and keep up with the run rate. But unfortunately, there were just too many runs on the board for them to get. And it's a completely different mentality chasing versus defending and setting a total. Because if you look at the Delhi innings, almost at every point up until the 19th and 20th over, they were exactly toe-to-toe with Mumbai at that specific stage. You can go back and compare over by over where Delhi was and where Mumbai was, and Delhi was right there with them up until that final over. And that's when you realize this was just too much, because scoring 30 plus in the last over is incredibly rare. To my knowledge, I think it's only happened maybe 3 times in the entirety of the IPL. Romario Shepherd today, Rinku Singh last year, and then Ravindra Jadeja in 2021. As far as I remember, these are the only 3 times that anyone has scored 30 plus runs in the 20th over of an IPL match. And so when you're chasing, especially mathematically, you were looking at that final over, you needed a ridiculous number to win. Mathematically, it just wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. And it's those small margins that ultimately end up being the difference between winning and losing. You had 2 batters for Delhi who were playing very well. One of them shone much more brilliantly than the other. And then you have the collective effort of the Mumbai Indians. And the Mumbai Indians innings is probably the most ideal way of T20 cricket You just have contributions from top to bottom. Nobody truly outshone anybody else. You get the finishing flourish, but it was an overall collective effort. This was the highest score in IPL history without anyone scoring a half century. The highest score for anybody in that Mumbai team today was Rohit Sharma scoring 49 from 27. Nobody scored a half century, but they still managed 234. That is amazing stuff, and that's something you just got to respect. Mumbai decided, okay, we're just going to go hit, and we're just going to try and put a total on the board, and everybody did that. Everybody went out there, knew their role, knew their game plan, and played accordingly. And that's what allows you to post big totals. That's what allows you to defend big totals, and that's what allows you to win games. Do I think this is a sustainable winning formula? If Mumbai can keep getting these consistent contributions from everybody top to bottom, yes, it is consistent. Do I think they're going to replicate this specific instance where they have multiple batters combined for over 200 runs? Probably not. Realistically, when you think of a 200 plus score, it's typically because of a much bigger partnership towards the beginning of the innings, or a really big partnership towards the end of the innings that really pushes you over that 190, 195 range up into that 200, 215 plus. Mumbai didn't necessarily have any sort of massive partnerships. Everybody just kept getting starts and just kept going. But having that top to bottom contribution is very important because it gets everybody among the runs, and it gets everybody some experience in the middle, which in a long tournament is going to serve you well in the long run. With Delhi, Prithvi Shaw scoring a half century it bodes well for him, and it bodes well for Delhi knowing that you have a competent opener alongside David Warner, who didn't fire today, but David Warner is among the most consistent batters in the T20 format, so he'll always come good when it matters. Having that consistent opening partner beside him is only going to make Delhi better in the long run. Unfortunately, it didn't lead them to a win today, but if they continue to stay healthy, if they continue to build on that partnership, it will lead to more wins for Delhi in the future. And Tristan Stubbs is an absolute find for Delhi, and if he continues to improve, he can be that sort of middle over enforcer and that back end hitter that Delhi sort of needs more consistently. They have guys coming in and out who sometimes will perform, who sometimes will not. Tristan Stubbs is a very clean hitter of the cricket ball, and he can play both pace and spin. So it's if he can improve, Delhi has someone in that middle order who can enforce, and they have someone at the back end who can hit. And that, you can't ask for anything more than that from a middle order batter. But one thing I want to just do is shout out to Jasprit Bumrah, who was incredibly economical in his 4 overs in a match where everybody was going for 10s, if not more. Jasprit Bumrah, 4 overs, 22 runs, 2 wickets, and an economy of 5.5. He went for less than run a ball when everybody around him was going for 10s, when everybody on the other side was going for 10s, when Mumbai's run rate overall was nearly at 12s, and Delhi was consistently at over 10s. Him going at less than run a ball is ridiculously impressive. I cannot say anything more than that. But obviously, Romari Shepherd got player of the match because his back-end hitting ultimately was the difference between victory and defeat for Mumbai. But if I had a say in that player of the match selection, I would have given it to Jasprit Bumrah because with everybody around him going for runs, his ability to stem that run flow and basically force Delhi to hit everybody else that wasn't Bumrah basically meant that Delhi had 16 overs to chase around 230 instead of the whole 20, because Bumrah effectively erased 4 overs by just not giving any runs. And so it's these small things that add up, and all these small things added up into a win for Mumbai today. So yeah, that's that. That was how this match went down. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I'll be back for the next one. And as always, have a good one.